Welcome the people on YouTube. We are on live stream on YouTube. I do have this call Monday to Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, 6 days per week on YouTube Live. In addition, at the top of naaip.org, there is a telephone number there, which we could have a conversation, as well as it's listed on the YouTube as well. It's a 888 number. There are a few guests on this call, and let me flip over to that screen as well to see who's on the call. Mr. James Byrne. James, can you hear me okay? Excellent. Okay, I am increasing the volume. I started that, I realize I have to take this YouTube stuff pretty seriously. As I mentioned to John, whatever business you're in, definitely identify the people who are doing it well and copy them. You will not be able to do it as well as them on day one, but eventually, if you do the same thing over and over and over, you usually get good at it. And this whole YouTube stuff involves buying a microphone and buying a bunch of other accessories, speaking in a certain manner, which fortunately I do speak in that certain manner. It really means no pausing. I've been in the sales business for a long time, so that's part of the sales business. If you let the people think, they generally hang up on you. So it's a constant stream of talking, and that was the technique I was using throughout my sales career. Any case, I will be switching this over to a screen share as well on YouTube. So if anyone wants to see my screen, all you have to do is at the top of naaip.org, there's a click that says the word NAAIP Live. It takes you over to YouTube. And from what I read, there's some sort of 1 or 2 second delay, but eventually I'll figure that out as well. And let's see what we're doing right now. Okay, we've got a couple of people on the call. We've got James Burns. Do you have a question?
No, but thank you for asking. I'm enjoying and absorbing the information that you're putting out. Thank you so much.
Okay, James, as you may or may not know this, but we've been working on this project for a couple of years. At a certain point, I'm starting to feel comfortable that what we're offering is better than anything else in the marketplace. Our token words that got people into the system, which is now over 13,000, it's free and always will be. And that's caused a lot of people to join, which is over 13,000. The trick of the matter is, to get people to sign up is not that hard. To get people to use the website, put the website on their own domain name, do the proper steps to move up the search engine is really what we're trying to do. So I'm doing screen sharing right now. In fact, I'm in my password protected back office. I guess the YouTube world and the entire world could see. You could see, we've got 13,079 people that signed up over the past couple of years. Last one who signed up is Bernardino. Before that was Mr. Harrison. Before that, Yancey. These are not state secrets. These are really just run-of-the-mill insurance agents. But we definitely want you to use the site. And at a certain point in time, I will be offering you game-changing, very high commission levels. Hopefully, you'll take advantage of that, and everything will be good. In order to make this interesting for the YouTube community, I can't just say the same thing over and over every day. So what I'd like to do is first answer any of your questions. Amanda, do you have any question? From North Carolina. John from Texas, do you have a question?
If you could go into and explain a little bit more about the live transfer, live Medicare Advantage annuities, that sort of thing.
I will flip over. I'm at the top of naaip.org, right at the very, very top. There's a click there that says the word leads, domains, quoters, e-contracting, portal, and login. I suppose what you're interested in is the word leads. Leads. a lot of people come into our system because this page is the equivalent to a Wikipedia of good information on lead generation, and that's how you got here. Or a lot of people get here because if you Google the word live transfer final expense or live transfer anything leads, we're right at the top of the search engine. If you scroll from top to bottom, you will see it's a tremendous amount of good information. Wow. It's a tremendous amount of good information. You probably know, based on being in the system for a while, our number one focus is to get people to use our system, uh, the website technology, put the website on their own domain name, do the proper steps to move up the search engine, which involves, I'd really like to get a percentage of every agent in America who sells insurance. And I'm really targeting, those, 3, 4, 500,000 people that sell financial products, which is a lot of people. We're targeting what these people are searching for online on Google or Yahoo or Bing. One of the main things they're always searching for is lead generation. If you click around, John, you will see a 13-minute video which describes how to move up the search engine, primarily focuses on time on site and original content. That's the reason this page is so all-inclusive and so interesting, because that causes time on site. In addition, I do click, there's a lot of wording here about $8 live transfer lead, $9 live transfer lead. You may or may not know, John, that the going price for live transfer leads is close to $35, $45, $55 a pop. So when run-of-the-mill, Tom, Dick, and Harry insurance agents see $8 or $9 live transfer leads, they get very excited. They start tingling. They call me up. I tell them register for NAAIP. Then they see immediately that I tell them it's free and always will be. There's no strings, no catches, nothing like that. They choose a template. Hopefully they'll put the website on their own domain name. They'll do the proper steps to move up the search engine. They'll understand the basics of search engine optimization. Then I tell them, hey, if we'll get you in that live transfer system. Just come over to the 6-day per week video conference call, and here we are. If the going rate of something is $50 and you see something advertised online for $8, something is really weird. But in the meantime, your job as an insurance agent is to get in front of people and to close deals. You could imagine having an encyclopedia of lead generation is definitely helpful, and that's what this page is. Specific to your question about $8 live transfer leads, this explains it right here. Other services. NAPE members will receive tutelage as to setting up lead generation, expert advice. YouTube and other lead companies are great tools for example sales pitches. Your lead generator TelePro should generate between 1 and 2 leads per hour. There are American companies which you could call. It's hyperlinked. They will hire the Filipino for you and charge you $20 per appointment and schedule your day via Google Contacts calendar for you to run appointments. You would have to supply them a list of names to call. For the most part, that's done through postcards or Facebook leads. An alternative is that they will train you and your team to make appointments. I suppose if you're in this business, you should not, you should be good on the telephone. So, to get training from another person to be good on the phone is pretty crazy. How do you get good on the phone? You stay on the phone for 6 months in a row from morning till night. Eventually you do get good. There, in this paragraph, there's something very weird. It mentions they will hire the Filipino. That is weird. Virtually every live transfer company out there hires Filipinos who live in Philippines, not in San Francisco. These people make $3, $4, $5 per hour, and that's how they make a living. That's what these companies are based on. Right below here, this paragraph, it mentions home-based telemarketer marketplace, 20,000 phone pros, freelancers, software included. You click this takes you to outbounders.com, which is a outsourcing portal for this profession. And I could tell you, every telemarketing live transfer lead company is using Filipino. They almost sound Hispanic when they speak. You can't really tell the difference between a slight Hispanic accent and a Filipino, and these people are stuck in Philippines, and that's why they're learning. They're doing that job. It's probably not a bad idea before you start hiring other people to do something to be really good at it yourself. If you hire people at $4 an hour and you're good at it automatically based on your management and your leadership, these people become better, and that's how you get a business. It's I believe it's a terrible idea to spend 40, 50, $60 for a lead when you're almost outsourcing your own business. Your job as an agent is to get in front of people and to close deals. If you outsource half your job, probably the more important part of the job, it's hard to stay in this business. So the skill sets are: be good on the phone, be good face to face. Once you have those two skill sets, thirdly, once you recognize what the nature of your job is, you're one step ahead of a lot of other people in this business. There's no shortage of those not trying, they're actually taking advantage of new agents coming in. And so I suppose me saying $8 live transfer leads is a better alternative than these people actually, spending the 40, 50, $60. If I get my 2 cents in, these people set up their website on their own domain name. They come across as professional. They read this page from top to bottom, and they're looking at an encyclopedia of lead generation. You're just much more likely to stay in business if one recognizes what their profession is. I made the corporate, I should say my corporation, which is myself. I made the corporate decision. If I say the same thing over and over and over on YouTube, it'll get quite boring, and this YouTube channel will never take off. So in order to make it a little bit more exciting, I should say a lot more exciting, not just a little bit more, I have to, instead of me saying the same thing, I have to get other people involved, almost like an Oprah Winfrey interview system. So, John, since you're a little bit talkative and it says here you're from Florida, but I guess you're from Texas. Let me ask you
I use a VPN so it blocks my IP address, and I can choose all of them.
I get you. I understand that. I have a list of the quite a few phrases that I've been saying over and over and over, and one of them was "I get you." So I have to stop saying that. I have it right in front of me. I clean my desk. It's pretty clear. I get when you are in the sales business, it's probably not a bad idea to say the same thing over and over because you're going to different customers that don't know each other. But in this new profession of trying to be a star on YouTube, that is not helpful. In the another, I was about to say in the meantimes, I have to stop saying that. John, let me ask you, how long have you been in this business?
Since 1987.
That is a long time. Let me get on my calculator. We're in 2021. That's, add another 10 years, 30, 40 years. That's a long time. So what have you been doing for the last 35, 40 years?
So I started out back in the late 80s. The small group health insurance was a hot market. Started there. 89, started a farmers insurance agency and went the PC route. Did that till about 2002. Sold that business. Got into the Medicare final expense market. Still do a little bit of that, but now doing more annuities, a little bit of long-term care, Medicare supplements, that sort of thing.
So it seems like you're progressing to older upper income people.
And I think part of that is, at my age, I'm 65, so I relate to like they relate to me because I have a Medicare supplement. I have a lot of products that I'm actually pitching to them. So
And the whole business. You pick and choose what you feel makes the most money for your situation. And annuities is a huge business. And annuities, for the most part, pay more than the bank. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and much more secure than I say this, much more secure than the stock market. Although most people are, you know, buying stocks hand over fist right now, but at some point it always corrects, and when it does, that's when my phone usually rings. And
I read an article. I read an article. I sent it to a friend of mine that traditionally means the last 100 years, the stock market will boom has boomed for 50 of those 100 years, and it's tanked 50 of those last 100 years. And
yeah, and most
it,
people don't understand it's all about timing. It's if you get in at the wrong time and you're close to retirement age, it's almost impossible to let that money grow
right, and
over a long period of time. If you're in your 30s, it's and you get in and you can survive the up and down. That's great. But if you're already in your 50s and 60s, you can't really afford a correction. Really, even a 30.
yeah, and what's happened on every correction that the market has got, the stock market has experienced, it's happened every time. The people didn't remember the history of the last
Yep.
100 years, that it goes up.
Right.
Like, you'll have a boom for 15 years, like a huge
Yep.
boom for 15 years, and people think that's forever, and it's just going to continue for the next 15 years going forward.
Yep. 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 And we're sort of in that category now where it's, I don't know if you follow a lot of the stuff that's been going on with GameStop and, a lot of the other hot, stocks right now that people are, buying that are considered small cap or, penny stocks type of thing. And some people are making, a ton of money, but a lot of people that don't know what they're doing get burned,
Uh,
bad.
uh,
But the market as a whole has continued to, march up, but it's going to correct.
it's all based on profits. Imagine if you look at the company Telsa, it's worth, $1 trillion
Yeah,
or whatever it's worth. They have
it's based on profit.
to justify the profit, that market value, they've got to make $50 billion a year or some ridiculously
Yeah,
high number to make even 5% interest. It's like, gee, is that possible? Is that going to happen? It's like, it's almost laughable, but the stock keeps on going up.
I know, I know. It does make a lot of sense.
Well, eventually it will make sense. It will make sense when it goes back down to what it's supposed to be.
Right. And most of the people that I'm talking to that are interested in annuities, or again, they're older. Um, if they're in the market, usually I explain to them it's okay that, let's get some of it, safer and guaranteed. And when they understand that, they understand the value of the annuities as well. But like I said, at some point the market's going to correct really hard, and a lot of the people that I talk to are going to be calling me back and saying, "Okay, John, I understand. I now want something that's safer with what I got left," and that's when the sales really increase exponentially. They're now experienced it, and they want someplace that's safe and guaranteed. Because
I suppose what happens when you're 15 years into a down market, you have to be really convincing to get people to go back to investing in the stock
yeah,
market. But we are at the tail end of this stock market. My subspecialty for the past couple of years has been moving up the search engine. Just, even though I know very little about annuities, very little,
yeah,
I will Google the word selling annuities by phone, because that's what people Google usually when they want to go into something. Lo and behold, lo and behold, right at the top is a YouTube video that I made. How to sell annuities, good phone script. On my final expense, I made the title great phone script. This one is okay, so I was modest, but for whatever reason, it still went to the top of the search engine. So you've got the YouTube video, but initially I made a article on that, which is also at the top. I suppose if you Google it, you'll come up with the same results. I, back in the day, I was big into phone sales, so I came up with a pretty good sales script, which made a living selling a certain product. All I did was take the basic rules of selling over the phone and switch the words. And I noticed that this phone script went to the top of the search engine. As you could imagine, when that happened, I did a deep dive into the whole ins and outs of annuities. Trying to get a bunch of information. And my step number one was 5 steps to sell an annuity online, by phone, or face to face. I suppose if you're making $3, $4, $5,000 per sale, you should visit these people face to face. It doesn't make sense to sell it telephonically, but people inevitably are Googling the word how to sell something over the phone. So that's why I made the article on that.
Right. And I will tell you that as of March of last year, people that were hesitant in doing, $100,000, $200,000 into an annuity by simply talking to someone over the phone and over the internet, they now get it. They now understand. They don't want you in their home.
Well, that was because of the pandemic, but the pandemic eventually will be over.
Yes, but now people are accustomed to the fact of doing business over the internet and over the phone, and they're comfortable with that. And so it does. If there's a silver lining, in my opinion, to what happened last March, is that it made people feel more comfortable that they can do business with someone, even if it's annuities or health insurance or whatever it is. And you say, look, I don't have to be. I used, again, I've been in the business for 34 years.
So you've seen everything.
I've done a ton of the, what we call the toe-to-toe, eye-to-eye presentation. And the downside to that is that you drive to somebody's house, you do the presentation, you spend a couple of hours, and they don't buy. Now you got to drive home, and and it just being able to do it online, online and over, with the cameras, they can see you. It's almost like you're sitting in their living room. But at the same time, if they don't feel comfortable in order to close the deal, you can still go in person.
Right.
But you say, look, this is, everything changed. In the spring of 2020, you experienced it, I experienced it, and I explained to them 90% of the business that I do, I now do over the phone and over the internet. You can see me, got a camera, and the level of comfortableness, if there's a good word, with that customer on the other side is, look, you're dealing with your financial planner over the phone and over the internet because you couldn't go into his office. It's no different than dealing with me, whether it's annuity, life insurance, or health insurance, or whatever. And they get it. Before, they were much more nervous. Now they're much more comfortable. And you can get more done when you're not having to constantly jump in your car and go meet with them. And because
John,
you're finished with an appointment, and bam, you're right next to
I
the
get.
next appointment.
Are you telling me that your income went up the past 12 months?
Yes, and it's because I may not have closed out of 10 people that I talked to. I may have, that might not have increased. I was just able to talk to and see more people
It,
because I'm not spending that time getting in my car and driving someplace. My time is much more productive, even if my 2 sales out of 10 presentations is the same. I'm now able to do more presentations with sales.
I understand. So, but some of these sales are, but you've noticed that it's better to solicit people that are closer to your house. So hypothetically, you could drop over just to say hello and pick up the check.
Hypothetically, you could, but again, if they've been dealing over the internet and the phone with someone,
It won't even make a difference.
already, yeah, it does make a difference.
I understand. Okay, let's go over. Okay, yeah, I wrote this article that did go to the top of the search engine, how to sell annuities over the phone or selling annuities over the phone. You'll see it just by Googling. And just like anything else, I can read this to you, but you understand the business, better than me. Understand the pros and cons of the annuity. Come up with some sort of jingle. Get a bullet points. Keep everything simple. Know the bank does have advantages. Admit that they have advantage, that they have a physical location, they have FDIC insurance, but insurance companies have bigger advantages, and I suppose not having to pay a security guard at your house at the insurance company is a huge advantage. Less expenses. But the tax referral, then you've got the sales pitch, and all these sales pitches are really geared to having these people consider you an expert initially, not to be hung up on. And that's the basis of any sales pitch. Annuity live transfer leads, since it is a big ticket item, are those live transfer leads running over $50 a pop?
I would assume they are. I have, several different sources that I look at, and like I said, I've had a website with you for a while, but I had never researched, down far enough to realize that you had the much, cheaper phone leads, and so I guess that's one of the reasons I'm, attending today and reaching
Right.
out to you.
John, what we're really trying to do is to get people to use our website, which you may or may not be doing in the proper format. Set it up properly, put it on your own domain name, do the proper steps to move up the search engine, which you now know has to do with time on site and original content. Whatever knowledge you have in this business, you could write on that website, because when these people consider you an expert, your close ratio increases exponentially. So please, take the time and effort to write a couple of paragraphs saying what you know for a living. And even though I knew virtually nothing about annuities, I wrote a page that went to #1 in Google and video. When I saw the page went to the top of the search engine, I made a video on the same subject, and both of those went to the top. And that's probably why we have over 13,000 people that have signed up for this system over the past couple of years. I should mention as well, we are contracted with one of the largest annuity companies in America. In order for me to get you these game-changing, very high commission levels, my agreement with them is that I cannot name them online. And since this is going to YouTube, I can't mention them. So if you get an email or an SMS or any sort of communication from my company where we mention top 5 life insurance company, that includes that annuity company. So if you need contracting at the very highest level, give me a holler and I could get it for you. There is another. I hear you, Mr. Yes, Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns, do you have a question? We don't have. We're trying to keep this stuff really simple. We have one of the largest life insurance companies out there, which happens to be a mutual company. Very similar product line to New York Life. The reason I keep on mentioning New York Life has they get their agents to sell. They've got a very simple technique. It's a mutual company. Mutual companies, for the most part, are paying between 5 and 6% interest on their whole life policies. Since there are dividends, the profits go back into the policies. We need to get people to get contracted to learn this product line and use the similar technique what New York Life is doing, which is writing out a list of your 200 people in your warm market. And you sell those, and you learn the product and you sell those people. You've got the entire product line through this major top 5 company, with the exception of final expense. The problem I've had with final expense is there's a lot of people that get contracted and they don't make sales. And I believe John, John from Texas, would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes, it is. I've worked that market really hard. Um, the individual that tends to fall into the category of the final expense, they probably are someone that you almost need to meet in person with. It's not like, again, that has changed. I haven't done as much of it in the last couple of years, but that type of individual, um, the reason it's appealing to them, the final expense, is because it's a small policy. It's a low um, premium, and that type of individual is you almost have to meet with them in person.
Right. Let's John, let's not beat around the bush. We're dealing with low income, unsophisticated, older people. We're talking about people that forget what they did 2 weeks ago. Uh, Insurance policies, the companies that we're pushing on final expense, you see on every email blast that I send out, it's a major final expense company. We start everyone off at 122%. It's the only company out there that has 5 different whole life policies, everything from preferred to guaranteed issue. You're more than welcome to get contracted through us. You'll be at the very top level. That's all we have. I suppose in the future maybe things will change, but I just haven't had a lot of success in in it could be that in our system it says the word it's free and always will be, so it attracts agents that are looking for free stuff. The quality of the website technology we're offering is so good. I might as well direct people to where they're making money, and people are and what this system could add as a value added. If you click around to our lead system, this would relate to John since he is making these big sales, and I suppose you've got your head on your shoulders. The number one lead system by far out there is called incentive-based marketing, where in which you give people something that's super valuable to them, but really does not cost you any money. And whatever industry you're in, you have to always be thinking of what you could give to people. I suppose in the final expense business, a concierge service to helping them get better prices on tombstones, caskets, etc. Walk them through that, be an expert. You also have last will and testament you could give away to, I guess, any older person, not just final expense. It could be Medicare supplement or annuities as well. If you scroll down to the bottom of naaip.org, there is a click there to last will and testament that goes to doyourownwill.com. Not a bad idea to become a notary public, carry a portable printer in the trunk of your car. Whatever you could do to become a celebrity in your local community is a good idea. The reason I'm pushing the major insurance company more than anything else is because these websites that we offer you for free, no strings, no catches, can be used as an incentive-based marketing tool, but they would really be only be used for business owners. You can't tell an 80-year-old woman, hey, I'm going to give you a website for your business. It's not going to help her out. So, John, once you set up these websites well for yourself, you realize how easy it is, how aesthetically pleasing it is. You might as well make this as an option. You've been through so many businesses over the past 30, 40 years. And you have to agree that if you give something away to people that causes them to like you, it makes the close a lot easier.
It does, and again, there's, like you said, there's actually companies out there that have those free, dealing with the funeral homes and
Right. There is a company on the final expense market. There's a company out there called Legacy Safeguard, which you've probably heard of. And I've looked at their stuff. And when I looked at their stuff, I noticed it part of their big PDFs stated, where's your will located? Who's your attorney? My brain started wondering, why don't you just make the will for them? Why make it complicated? Even a lot of people have these simple wills, or like become an expert at that to some extent. If it's a more complicated process, speak to an attorney so you can refer people to them, but the vast majority will be a relatively simple will. If you're a notary public, you could witness these and you become a mini celebrity in a local community, and it's much easier to close stuff when they're local. So if you could.
And David, I might add one more thing too. I know this gentleman was asking about final expense. In my experience, the best final expense customer is someone that you have either sold a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage product to, because now they know you and you've met that need, and they'll be much more open to listening to you about if they don't already have a life insurance policy, and it will stay on the books longer. That's one
Right.
of the issues with the final expense market is that even when you sell it, it does not stay on the books, and most of the individuals that concentrate in that market, they're getting an advanced contract, and when you have a policy that falls off, you now have to not only pay that advance back, whatever's left, but it goes against your persistency level. And at some point, if you drop below a persistency, I'm not sure exactly what it is.
It depends on the company.
Yeah, they will actually cut you off and cancel your contract if you fall below a persistency.
Right. John, let me mention as well. John, let me cut right in. I'm located in front of a computer. I'm not holding people's hands. I'm not taking people to. Well, I take people. I don't want to take people to court for paying back these debits. The final expense business is based on selling stuff to lower income, unsophisticated people, and the agents coming in oftentimes are from the same demographic or the same mindset. New agents coming in, so these marketing companies that are targeting new agents' final expense, they put people at relatively they have to start people at low commissions if they're going to be offering advanced commission. It has to be low, to justify taking the risk.
They're helping with the leads. Yes,
well, even if they're not, some of these the way these marketing companies overcome this bad debt issue is they do it as a multi-level marketing system. They get the top guy at, let's say, 120%. Right below them, they're at 100. Right below them, they're at 80, 60, 40, whatever the number is. The ideal situation, but in order to be a recruiter in this business, you have to be at the top level. Otherwise, it doesn't work, because you'll get a guy at 80%. Eventually, he'll do a little bit of shopping. He'll leave. But you're probably wondering why they're always looking for these multi-level marketing, because it's the one right above who's guaranteeing the loans. My system to overcome that is, we tell you there's no advance commission on the first sale, on sale number one. Afterwards, if one wants advance commissions, it mentions in your password protected back office, I could switch it to advanced commissions, but it will be at a lower commission level for the first 10 sales. After 10 sales, it moves back up halfway. After 20 sales, it moves back to where it was before. At a certain point in time, John and James, I will not be offering direct contracts. The ideal situation for myself is when someone comes into the system, I simply tell them, join James's team. And James, you do whatever you want. If you want to give this guy advanced commission at a high level, you're welcome to, but more likely not, if you're taking a risk, you want to put the guy pretty low. Then in the
it's protecting that new agent too.
It's not protecting the new agent. The new agent, if someone's willing to give him a loan, the guy was working in an Amazon warehouse. He could easily go back to that Amazon warehouse. Right. So the system that we have, which is the free website system, the final expense quote engine at the top, edit the website, help moving up the search engine, all that stuff. We are towards the tail end of this project. When it's completely done, it will be a white label system. White label means you'll be able to offer these websites to new agents coming in. those new agents will have no idea that my company exists. So they won't know about these game-changing, very high commission levels that are available directly through me. In the meantime, this is a perfect system for incentive-based marketing for business owners. The business owners are not final expense clients. They're the top 5 life insurance company that we're pushing, which these people are buying these big index universal life, these big pension plans for their workers, these big whole life policies that are paying between 5 and 6%, which is only available through a mutual insurance company. So that's the reason we're pushing the top 5 company more than the final expense. I suppose when we've got the white label, down pat, when it's the white label website system, that's when we go back to the final expense, because it's the most incredible team building technique out there, where you could tell a new guy coming in, here's a game-changing high commission level. It may not be game-changing. It'll be like a decent commission level plus the website, and you as an expert as a mentor, that's where we start recruiting team leaders more than anything else. But that's what we're preparing for. So you did mention a bunch of companies, James, that we don't have. The reason we don't have those companies is we just didn't really bring in the sales on final expense. But we've got one at the very top level. Hopefully you'll appreciate that, and hopefully you'll make it happen for that one company that we are pushing. I'm not going to mention any company online, but every email that I send out mentions that company. If you go into your admin, your password protected NAIP back office, if you scroll down under latest news, it mentions the word major final expense company. If you click that, it takes you right there. It also mentions the commission levels there. It's very cookie cutter. We're offering a value added tool which will help you make money. It will help you come across as a professional person. As an aside, click, you'll hear better commissions on a couple of companies. We have all the final, we have one final expense, one major company, and all the Medicare companies. Medicare is something you need, everything, especially the Medicare Advantage. But on the final expense, it's almost a futility. It's a futile process where agents come in and they start clicking 10 life insurance companies. Wake up in the morning, learn a product line from A to Z, especially if it's a major mutual life insurance company, and that's how a lot of agents make a living. Let's get back to John from Texas. John, so right now you're big into the annuity market.
Yes.
And are you selling mostly these are annuities to older people?
Yes.
And how are you advertising?
So I've got some customers that customer list that I've sold Medicare supplement and Medicare Advantage policies to in the past. So I do emails out to them. Hey, you're looked at annuities, let's talk. I've got another company that I'm working with right now to supply me with some fresh leads, and I again was looking back at information that I get from your emails, and have been looked at the process with yours, and now that I understand how that works, then that would probably be something I would look at doing as well too, of using that service from the Philippines to
Right, but it really comes down to, once you're good at the telemarketing yourself, you've really hit the nail on the head. As soon as you've done that, then you could start hiring someone else and teaching them what you know.
Yeah.
But until that happens, it's probably not a good idea to say, hey, Filipino person.
Sure. I mean, it's just like you said, it's a process where you're dealing, you're making the calls yourself, and you're talking got an issue with the caller and they're not maybe that experienced, and you can
But they'll be dedicated. If you get someone working out of their house and you're paying them, you start them off at $4 and you're making thousands of dollars of every sale they make. You could pay these people $8, $9, $10 an hour, no problem if you're making money. And these people will they'll be blessing you. They'll be sending you like you're, I don't want to use religious terms, but you'll be the equivalent of a very important person. If they could stay at home and make $10 an hour because they're causing your income to go to 200, 300, 400,000 because you're closing these deals telephonically, a couple of $1,000s every sale. I'm sure you'll be reasonably generous on their raises and bonuses if you're making that type of money. Here's what, John, let me get your advice. It's okay. Here's the what I wrote here. This is a quality phone script to telephone annuity prospects. Your prospect will be above average income between 45 and 59 years old for a deferred annuity, or above 59 years old for lifetime income that the annuity provides. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, because once they reach a certain age limit, they're looking for not so much accumulation, but what can it pay me on a monthly basis?
So
there's even ways to combine the two.
So it's 59 years old. They're looking for monthly income, or that's really when they hit 65 or 70.
It depends. If they're ready to retire, then yeah, they're ready to start looking at getting an income out of an annuity. And prior to that, they're looking for the growth. And there's basically, those are the two types of annuity programs that you have available to you. Is one that's called an immediate annuity, and so it starts paying you monthly now. You can choose lifetime or 20.
However it is. So you've come up, I would imagine if you're taking this business seriously, you've come up with some massive numbers on a sale. What was your biggest sale on an immediate annuity?
I would say, well, so I do what's called a split annuity, and I basically explain to the customer, let's do the best of both worlds. Let's get one that's producing you income, but let's have another one that's growing over a period of time, so that at the end of the 10-year period, you've gotten some money out of one annuity, but you've got another one that's growing, and it's over a period of time, it's actually kind of replacing what you're pulling out. So it's the best of both worlds. So in those instances, you can sometimes get a 200 to 300 total, and you're splitting the two. You might have 180 that's going into the growth annuity. You might have 120 that's going into annuity that's paying them now, with the whole idea that at the end of the 10-year period, you can now redo that, rinse and repeat, and you can now do another, immediate annuity for 10 years and a growth annuity for the next 10 years. And so it kind of, though you're depleting from one, the other one is growing.
So John, so on that one customer you'll be making $10,000, $15,000 commission.
You certainly can.
20,000. So it's probably worthwhile to get a system in order where where things are going well, and that's really what the major life insurance companies are doing. I'll mention New York Life. That's why the people who go through the training process at New York Life and take it seriously, they dress up nice, they come across as professional. That's why these people are making money, because that's what they're doing. And as I mentioned, we'll just get you the best deal of what we have. Simple. I'm not saying I'm providing training or advice. These companies know what they're doing. You go to their agent services. The company that we're pushing has seminars 5 days a week, and within a period of time, all their products, and you could pivot from one to another. What else? Okay, so that is accurate. So people below 45, are they buying annuities?
I would say not really, because retirement's not on their mind so much. Um, they're, in that particular market, you're probably doing them a better service if you can sell them a life insurance policy that's going to replace their income. If something happens to them, so that
I get
spouse
it would
pay
be
off the mortgage, and
it would be
take care of the kids and that sort of thing.
it would be a life insurance policy with living benefits. That's where you're going.
That would be good. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because they're not going to. They're not in that mindset of thinking that they've got a 401k at work, and in their mind, that's taking care of their retirement, and they're not as interested.
I get you. One place I wrote annuity process are 50 at age 50 are upper income people who are successful in their prospects. I write here annuity prospects at age 50 are upper income people who are successful in their careers. They are used to being the boss. You have to sound equally as impressive. Is that
I would say that's correct. Yeah, because that upper income individuals, they're looking to retire a little bit earlier than maybe another person that's not in the higher income. Because they're thinking, hey, I can sell my business by the time I'm 60 or 55. They've had it all their lives, and they tend to want to retire sooner if it's possible. Yeah.
so? For whatever reason, the algorithm of Google is if people stay on a particular page for an extended period of time, it inevitably rises to the top of the search engine. This is proof positive. Whatever article I wrote a couple of years ago, it worked. When I saw that it worked, I made a video, and that video is getting hits as well.
Cool.
Pretty cool. I'm like, wow. I haven't been to this page in a while, but you mentioned you're in annuities. I might as well like harken back to annuities.
Sure.
Regardless, we have to think of what you could give. I love this concept of incentive-based marketing. What you could give to people that are in the annuity market that will help them out in life.
A lot of times a newsletter that kind of goes into that can be sent out to them on a monthly basis, and it covers a different topic each month.
Uh,
So number one, it's giving them topics, to think about, and it's keeping your name in front of them.
I'm thinking more of like a gift, such as a website to a business owner, or free last will and testament. Would that be something that annuity?
Do that, sure. Yeah,
It's
yeah, you could do that. But again, the most business owners, they they're really good at what they do, and they're pretty much their mindset is on that, from the moment they wake up in the morning until they go to bed at night. And what they really appreciate is something that gives them information on a timely basis and on a consistent basis, and that's why I was saying
and
monthly newsletter.
so you said, but you've got a client list from all these products you've sold over the years, especially the Medicare stuff. How many years were you selling Medicare?
Um, what since I really started concentrating on it, probably around 2010,
That's
maybe.
11 years. 11 years, and
Yeah.
that evolved into annuities.
Yes.
I understand. Just
Yeah.
okay. We do have who's ever listening to this call. We have all the Medicare contracts. If anyone's interested, send an email to david@naaip.org, and we will get you those contracts, and you could be like John, not like Mike, but be like John. We do have Mr. Thompson. There is a Michael on this call. I shouldn't say the word, don't be like Mike, because there is someone named Michael on the call. Hey, Michael. Very good.
All right. Hey, I just had one question, one quick question, and that is, I had individual who I was trying to write a policy on, and and her son had was how can I put it, had some mental issues, and I had written a policy on her, and it went to one of the uh, that we use now. But that particular one rejected it because of that. Um, is there another?
Okay, I'm just going to keep stuff relatively simple. Every email we send out, I mentioned two life insurance companies. One is the major life insurance company, which does everything except final expense. So, it doesn't have final expense, which is really what the hard to issue cases need. The other company, right? You've got there's just nothing I don't believe there's anything we have. The final expense company that we have has 5 different whole life policies, and they do have a guaranteed issue. I'm pretty sure the guaranteed issue, if you look at the brochure, starts at age 40 or 45. Right. So that's a child policy. I know their term and their whole life policies start at 0, or their whole life preferred starts at 0. So that can be used as a child policy, but they have to be in okay health to get accepted. And is that what you were trying to sell that person?
Yeah, with the second company, and like I said, that particular company denied coverage.
Based on that criteria.
Right. So I was just wondering if there was another company or something else, another way we could go.
We don't have that. But I can tell you, you did get contracted with. When I say the word final expense, that's also our simple issue policy. Their primary market is lower income, unsophisticated. You may know in life, uh, Michael, when you're selling financial products, if you're specifically targeting lower income people, it may not end up as a happy ending. So that's why the last email blast that was sent out, it specifically mentioned the top 5 life insurance company. I'd certainly want you to get contracted with them. Send me an email with the words, please send me contracting. In addition, you'll learn the products from top to bottom. It's hard to make money on low income people on a long-term basis. The gentleman that is no longer on the call, John from Texas as well. He told very simple formula. He was targeting Medicare people for years. At a certain point, he probably realizes there's more money in annuities, so he might as well sell all his former Medicare people annuities. And that
Matter of fact, my wife, she just joined with a different agency, and that's what she's trying to get into the annuities. She's trying to.
annuities, John's not on the call, but it seems like he had the product line, and he also had the age that he was at the age where he's at the right age to sell these type of people, and he's pretty good at sales. So if you combine all those 3 things, that's why he's making more money than he's ever made in his life.
That's the track I'm trying to get on myself.
One of the things that everyone has to be very suspicious about, very, very suspicious about, very careful about when you get into these marketing companies, these sales companies, oftentimes they want to take you to the cleaners selling you leads. You have to be you have to really be suspicious. You have to understand that a lot of new agents coming in, they're not going to make it, and the marketing companies know this. So at least the marketing companies want to pick as much of your pocket as humanly possible. There was a gentleman on this call yesterday or 2 days ago. He worked for an index universal life company pushing index universal life. He was buying leads at $150 a pop. He sold 2 policies during a 1-year period. He said he was buying 10 or 15 leads a month. So Well, I'm sure you'll make sure, hey, wife, let's go out to dinner and let's not make this lead company rich or something. There's better stuff to spend money on.
Oh, that's a lot of money right there.
And that's what this guy told me yesterday.
Well, I'm just really encouraged about it, and has a few things that I have to jump off for as standing back on the business for a while because of physical things happening. But getting back in it pretty strong and it's looking very promising.
I'm glad to hear that. It really comes down waking up in the morning, having some sort of infrastructure where you're making sales on a regular basis. Not,
Yes,
once in a blue moon, there has to be some sort of game plan. Wake up in the morning, make a sale two, three, four every week. If you're in the commission sales business of financial sales, it really has to be double the national average. If the average income in America right now is $1,000 a week, in order to make this job worthwhile, you have to be making 2,000 a week. And it's hard to shop around. When you're targeting lower income people, it's less likely to occur.
I had told her I'd try to maybe get her a baby policy or something.
Well, you got to do it quick. You in and out. If you're buying some sort of baby policy or anything, you'll learn the product line so you could pivot from one policy to another in that company or whatever companies you're contracted with, and just click, click, click. You'll sign here, and we're really pushing these website stuff because it's so important that you guys come across as respected professionals. The more you are respected as a professional, the more likely they're to believe that you are, and they they sign and pay the check. But these but please send me that email with the word send me contracting for top 5 mutual life company. I'll get that over to you. If you do the New York Life technique, whether you do it or your wife does it, you're much more likely to make a living, which means you learn the products from top to bottom. It may take you a couple of weeks or even a month. Immediately afterwards, you write a list of your 200 closest people you know, and you become intimately aware that you coming across as a professional person will determine the closing, will determine what you make. We start people off at between 90 and 100% commission, which is double what people at New York Life are making. And hopefully you'll appreciate the website that we're offering, where you could use the website as an incentive-based marketing tool where you give websites to business owners. Business owners will incredibly appreciate you. You may or may not. New York, a gentleman was on this call from New York Life. He was telling me that they close these deals $600, $700, $800 a month on average. And so whatever they're doing, let's copy them, copy their technique through our system. You are independent, so you could also be contracted with Medicare or final expense or whatever else you need. But this system is intimately good as an incentive-based marketing tool in which you could take advantage of that. Okay, let me get since I'm trying to make this call a little bit interesting. We do have James on the call. Michael, I've got 2 people from Houston. I guess Michael, that's your phone number from Houston, I believe. Is that correct? 186.
Yes, Audi Katie.
I get you're in outside of Houston. I get.
That is correct.
Okay, I've been on this call for a little over an hour, but let me ask you, Michael, how long have you been in this business?
I've been in the business for right at 5 years.
Okay, so so who did you start out with?
Well, to be honest, I had started out with you. That was when I first came in. It was on part time. That was when you went to Rosenthal. Um, oh my goodness, that was back in out of Georgia, I think, in Atlanta.
There's a gentleman, I remember him online. It was Rosenthal that he was pushing various final expense companies.
Yes, yes, yes. So and I'm bivocational, so
Okay, I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. We're pushing two companies in life insurance. We have all the Medicare stuff, but if you're in the life insurance business, primarily two companies. Learn these products top to bottom. If you feel comfortable with these two companies from top to bottom, you write out a list of the 200 people that you know, and you approach those 200 people with illustrations. Mutual insurance companies, the whole life policies are paying between 5 and 6%. It's incredibly attractive to anyone during their working years that eventually, if you could show them a either an index universal life, the illustration, or the whole life illustration, you show that to them, you'll be pleasantly surprised that quite a few people will agree with you that this is a good deal. And you're doing the exact thing that New York Life is doing, and those agents make money. Only difference is we could add the final expense and the commission levels are double. That's it. And you could add this incentive-based marketing tool with the website. So, let's keep stuff relatively simple, and let's get to work. Let's bring in money.
Thank you.
It's a pretty simple formula. I was never really pushing, even though you say, Michael, that you were with us for the past couple of years, you really weren't. We were all over the place. We were really setting up our system. Our system is really good now, which was not the case previous. And that's why I was never really pushing for people to do anything in particular, because our stuff it wasn't set up. It is set up now, and it really comes down to is you have to make a living, and this is the secret sauce. This is the formula.
There's nothing like secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
Yes, sir.
Okay, even though I'm coming across as very generous and all that other good stuff, you may or may not know. I'm not looking at my back office, but you may or may not know we put advertisements on these free websites that pop up after 15. Actually, I just lowered it to 25 hits. So if you've got those ads on your site, please get rid of them. It's $14.99 to get rid of them. If you ever sell through us in the future, I will refund whatever you've paid. So if you feel like you're going to stay in this business and you could take it and you're going to make sales, it's free. I definitely need you to go into your back office. If you see the word click here to get rid of ad, click it, put in your credit card or PayPal. It's really just PayPal. There's no credit cards. It's PayPal, but they do accept credit cards. PayPal makes it so easy to refund money. That's why I'm sticking with them. And afterwards, if you sell through us, I'll just get that money back to you. If you don't feel like paying that now, but if you sell on a regular basis, you input the sale in that little box, and the ad disappears for 30 days. You know, if you input something 12 times, it disappears for the year. So hopefully good things are going to happen. And but I definitely need you. If your website is not properly set up, let's get that done. I'm not sure what your situation is, but it's really going to come down to coming across as a professional person.
Yes, well, that's one thing that I plan on doing within the next week, and that is to grab it, and I have some pictures that I want to put on there as well to show professionalism of it.
Right, and learn the products. I'm not asking you to learn 20 different products. I'm saying two products. Major top 5 mutual life insurance company, major final expense. Immediately afterwards, get that website looking good. Write out the list of your 200 closest people. Start approaching these people from morning till night, and you will make sales. The options of buying leads is always available. If you ever want to empty out your bank account, you could always do that buying postcards or anything else. But let's start with what's been working for New York Life for the last 200 years. Actually, not 200, for the last 170 years. And that's what they've been doing, and they're still in business. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Okay, okay. I'm about to get off this call. There is a gentleman that we do have, Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns, hello, James. James, can you hear me? Okay, James is doing something else. Okay, so Michael, that is our formula now. I know we had different systems previous, but that's what we're doing now to keep stuff relatively simple. 2 life insurance companies, learn these products from A to Z, set up the website properly, and realize how good this website is. If you want to use it as an incentive-based marketing tool, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll see you then. I'm going to get off this call. I do appreciate all the people on YouTube. I'm about to sign off on YouTube. I should mention anyone on YouTube, please make a comment. You know, we are a technology company first and foremost. We definitely want you to sign up for the free website, put the website on your own domain name, do the proper steps to move up the search engine, all that good stuff. I can't guarantee you're going to become a millionaire. You're just much more likely to succeed if you come across as a professional person. And that's exactly what we're attempting to do. I will sign off and have a terrific rest